went to Ghana years ago, to West Africa, where many of our ancestors were taken for the last time from the motherland. I went to the slave castle, and it was such a heavy experience because when you went into the slave castle, you could still feel the pain and the grief and the horror baked into the walls. You could still smell the stench of urine where they were packed in like cattle with little trenches. They slept on the floor and were packed in. Then there was this wide hallway that narrowed down to one little single door, and up above the door in the slave castle, it said the door of no return. That door was where our ancestors went into the bowels of slave ships and were brought to America and brought through the Atlantic slave trade route and made it through the Caribbean, eventually to the United States of America. There was a bird, a statue that I saw there that I bought on the side of the road. It was a bird looking backwards, grabbing an egg. I asked my guide, I said, what does that bird represent? He said, that's the bird of Ghana. That's the Sankofa bird. And the bird is reaching behind it to grab an egg. And I said, what does that mean? He says, before you can go forward, you got to reach back into your past to get what you need from your past so you can go into your future. God allowed me to retrace my steps back to Ghana where it all began so that I could reconnect with the motherland and see the route in which God has taken me to deliver me. They have now since changed their door of no return to the door of return, and now Ghana has dual citizenship and wants African Americans to come back home. It is my goal and objective on my bucket list to go get my dual citizenship and come back through the door of return. So watch this. Dick Gregory, I don't know if y'all have ever heard this. He says, whenever a hurricane originates, it always originates from the west coast of Africa. Are you listening to me? And the route of the hurricane is the same route that the slave ships took to get to America. Dick Gregory said that the hurricanes are the angry spirit of ancestors who want to remind America and the world that you can't get away with this injustice and think that God is not going to give you some kind of consequence. We have to retrace our steps. And speaking of justice, I want us to continue to be in prayer for the family, the Nichols family of the young man that was beaten by 5 police officers and killed. And they were fired. What's hurtful to me is not just that police officers did this, but 5 black police officers. What happens many times is that when you don't retrace the steps of your ancestors, you repeat the process of your oppressors. Y'all, it's too deep, ain't it? I'm sorry. Let me come back out of here and get you some air. It's too deep. I apologize.